Hey guys, Rob Shucraft here with Storm Fitness. Today I'm going to talk about, just have a general discussion on how I deal with pain. A lot of time pain that kind of shows up in the gym. We'll talk specifically about lower back pain because that's super common with a lot of people. But really this can be applied to just about anything. And I'm going to try to use a really goofy, kind of sick analogy, one that came up yesterday. I sort of just kind of made it up, so that's what you're going to deal with a little bit of imperfection. I almost guarantee that, but I think it makes sense. Let me get to the point, okay? I was talking to one of my clients yesterday, and she said, my back, she has kind of a history of lower back pain. She said, my back's kind of starting to it's kind of starting to bother me again. Do you have any stretches for that? And I said, yeah, we've got some things we can try. So it's toward the end of the workout, so we have plenty of time to kind of stretch things out. I don't have to worry about injuries on overstretch, whatever. Anyways, I said yes. And so I throw her on top of a medicine ball, and I'm having her like smash her guts into the ball. It's real uncomfortable if you've never done it, but it's one of the best ways to get to the iliopsoas muscle that runs up on the inside. It's one of the best ways to get to that self-myofascial release on that area, the big part of your hip flexors, and it gets real tight for a lot of people. And then I start having her smash her quads, and then I have her do like a couch stretch on the bench to really open up the hip flexors through here. And about halfway through that, she's just like, okay, I said lower back, right? I didn't say anything about this crap, my hip flexors or whatever you called it. I said, oh yeah, sometimes I get carried away. I'm sure you can imagine. I get carried away and I just start, let's do this and that. And I forget to actually explain why I'm having somebody basically go after the front of their body to address the back of their body, the anterior part to go after the posterior part. So I tried to explain it to her with this. It's a stupid example, but we're kind of going after upstream and downstream tension in this case. It's not always tension, but it's usually a problem higher up on the body that could be causing a problem lower on the body, or vice versa, in any way you want to look at that. And one way I was thinking about that was, I've always kind of been not into it in a sick way, but fascinated by, if you ever watched, by torture, by old, execution, if you ever listen to, Dan Carlin, he has this great, kind of sick, but Pain-Fortainment's the name of the title, and he's talking about, just the psychology behind, I was a psychology major, the psychology behind how people could do that to each other. But anyways, I've always been kind of fascinated by just that exists in history. It's really ridiculous. But anyways, one of the ways that people kill criminals or whoever is they tie their arms up by the wrists or whatever, and then they have horses pull them apart, and it would be an absolutely awful way to go. So I'm thinking, if you're somebody getting executed, you're the condemned, and you're getting pulled apart, would you be thinking, man, I wish this didn't hurt so bad? Man, I wish I was stronger so I could pull these horses together? Or would you be thinking, I wish these freaking horses would quit pulling my damn arms off? You probably think the latter. I wish these horses would stop pulling on me. So that's sort of how we got to look at our pain, our pain. But to manage our local pains, in this case the lower back, we got to figure out what's pulling on the lower back, so to speak, and stop that. So that's just one part of the picture. Now, do we need to address the lower back? Yeah, possibly, or whatever's hurting. Yeah, if you can make it stronger, absolutely, go for it. It's only gonna help. There's tons of a lot of PT exercises, things you could do to strengthen those parts, whether it be your hip, your shoulders, your neck, of course your lower back, whatever. Yes, make those parts stronger, make them more flexible as needed. All that stuff is very important. Manage your pain, but it's going to keep showing up. You can get so many massages, you can get all the massages in the world, but if what you're doing, if the tension is being caused upstream, downstream, or whatever, it's just going to keep making it happen. So we gotta relieve some of this. In this case, I was having to do all this stuff for the front of her body, her anterior chain, her hip flexors specifically, because in a lot of cases, now I'm not a physical therapist, I'm not a doctor, a chiropractor, whoever is qualified to make these calls, but I do know from a personal experience and also just from reading about it that if you have hip flexor tightness, it's going to start shifting your pelvis anteriorly, and it's going to cause a lot of strain on the lower back. That's just an example. So we need to shoot one of those horses in the head, get them to quit pulling on you. Quit pulling on the lower back. Maybe you don't have to shoot them in the head. Maybe just cut the rope. That's what we're doing. God, see, I'm sick. If you're with me this far, I feel bad for you. But we need to go after that. We need to end the tension. And then, furthermore, to take things one step further, we got to figure out why we're getting tense in the first place. Most of the time, it's just something we're doing. You know, people are like, oh, I can't do that because I have back pain or my knees hurt. Like, I've said that before, so I can make fun of those people. But you're the one most likely, and I'm not trying to make you feel bad, it's just a fact. It's just a fact. You're most likely the one who's causing these problems. So it's something that you're doing throughout the day is causing you to get tight in your hip flexors or whatever. In that specific case, for most people, it's sitting down at a desk. Sitting down at a desk all day like this. Other folks do it like this. That has its own issues. You got to fix the behavior too, okay? So that's just kind of how we're going about it. We're going to back way up and say, okay, you got a problem with your knees. Yeah, you could you could do some exercise to strengthen the muscles in your knees, maybe some imbalances, it could be a number of things with the knee. You could dress the knee itself, ice it if it's inflamed, or use like a electrostim device or something like that to relieve the inflammation. Yes, go after the local area. However, why are you having problems with your knees? Well, did you have an acute injury? Yeah, maybe you got like tackled and blew out your knee directly at the site, or maybe you have some sort of congenital issue where that's causing some sort of disease there. That who knows? But most people, for most people, I think Kelly Starrett in his book Becoming a Supple Leopard, I think he said something like, and I don't know where he got this information, but it's kind of made sense to me. I think he said like 98% of people's issues aren't congenital, or they're not caused by a specific injury to that site. It's usually caused by this upstream, downstream effects. So let's say we got bad knees. Okay, yeah, it could be those other things I talked about, but what it most likely is some sort of issue with the hips, okay, or maybe some sort of issue with the ankles and your knees caught in between, and it's trying to compensate. I'm generalizing like crazy here, but it's trying to overcompensate or do something that it's not necessarily made to do thousands and thousands and millions of times, and it's finally saying, I quit. So sometimes you got to fix your hip, you got to fix your ankle to fix your knee. That's another example, okay? So the hip and the ankle in this case are those stupid freaking horses tearing your knees apart. You got to go after that, all right? And again, sometimes it's a huge paradigm. Fix the local issue, yes. Fix the horses, yes. And then fix the person who's tying those freaking horses up to you, all right? That's going to be your faulty movement patterns. This will be the things that you're doing improperly throughout the day to set those horses up, to tie them to your, all right, I told you the analogy was kind of bad, but hopefully it kind of makes sense. Monica, my client, I was like, does that make sense? She's like, yeah, I think so. I was like, cool, good enough for a YouTube video. So that's what I'm talking about. Guys, this is Rob Schuker of 3-Storm Fitness. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physical therapist. But these are issues. I really like geeking out on this stuff, and it helps me quite a bit. It's helped me in my personal life deal with injuries and aches and pains. It's helped my clients as well, the folks who've done what I've asked them to do. I always recommend you go get professional consultation of some kind with somebody who's qualified within the scope of practice. Absolutely. So, do that too. But, just kind of open your mind up a little bit. If you have back pain, it might not just be your back. In fact, it's probably not just your back. Your back is just the one that's screaming the loudest about problems elsewhere. So open your mind a little bit, man. If you have questions, please let me know. I'll try to get the answer if I don't know them. Please subscribe to my videos if you like crap like this. And I ask you, number one, just have a fantastic day. Okay?